Gambians and friends of the Gambia. My government places a high premium on national security, and this sacred national interest will never be compromised on the altar of satanic and ungodly international standards that continue to promote the evil agenda of the world powers that are today playing God to Africa and the third world. Our democracy will be built on and sustained by our religious beliefs and cultural values. And as I declare for a theme during the last 22nd July anniversary, we will continue to live according to our religion. Therefore, the coercive and dictatorial pressures by some foreign powers aim at imposing on us their ungodly and decadent cultures, like homosexuality and unbridled freedoms that endanger the peace and welfare of the majority, will never be accepted in this country. These dangerous and irresponsible freedoms by these satanic forces would one day lead to brothers marrying their biological sisters, fathers marrying their own daughters, and mothers marrying their own sons. Such an evil world they are preparing for mankind cannot be accepted by the Allah-worshipping Muslims and Christians the world over, more so Africans, especially Gambians. I call on every Gambian to take greater personal responsibility for the socio-economic development, stability, security, and independence. And in a nutshell, the well-being of our motherland, the Gambia. We should not rely on the state for a disproportionate share of our welfare. Rather, we must endeavor and be bold enough to take full control and responsibility of our own socio-economic advancement and that of our country. It is only in this spirit of living by one's sweat and contributing to our country's development that we as a nation, working together with only the Almighty Allah as our master and our religion as our life and governance, that we will turn this great country into the economic superpower that we yearn for in a shorter period of time than anticipated. My government continues its program of socio-economic development with religion and religious value system as the cornerstone for national psychological emancipation and liberation from the circles of neocolonialism in all its shapes and colors. My government's drive to provide education for all Gambians. Religious education will be further buttressed and strengthened from primary, secondary to tertiary education. It is only when religion and faith in Allah only is established in the heart of every Gambian that we can become truly independent and dignified people. We cannot be called dignified and independent when instead of putting our destiny in the might of the Almighty Allah's custody, we look up to satanic powers that be, whose only objective for humanity is to glorify all that is evil and ungodly. These so-called world powers of today would comprise racist, homosexual, devil and material worshipping perverts bent on the continuous sucking of African blood and resources to perpetuate decadence, abject poverty, violence, and mayhem, like us more so be taken for masters. I am sure that even Iblis or Satan believes that he is less evil than these powers, who have one set of standards for themselves and another set for the rest of mankind, especially Africans. Fellow Gambians, I am sure you will agree with me that national pride and independence are meaningless without one's ability to rely on and feed oneself. Therefore, as we celebrate this independence anniversary, let us take this solemn and sacred responsibility to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. For a country to be highly developed, secured, peaceful, stable, and independent, it must be a very healthy country. We cannot assure a healthy country or Gambia as long as we do not grow what we eat and eat what we grow. In fact, eating what we do not grow, which means eating what we do not know, is detrimental to the attainment of a healthy nation and by extension, a wealthy nation. Eating what we do not grow or know is responsible for the strange health problems that are encountered in today's Gambia. Our traditional Gambian dishes of foods are being replaced by unhealthy and for most Muslims, haram junk food being imported into this country. This dangerous trend must end, and I'm determined to end the importation of basic food items by 2016 without fail, by the grace and might of the Almighty Allah. Fellow Gambians, friends of our dear motherland and non-Gambians, let me take this opportunity to also remind you all about the importance of a clean environment in the maintenance of perfect health and sustainable development. Allah has endowed us with all that we need to ensure healthy lives, but it is our responsibility to ensure a clean and conducive environment that ensures and guarantees good health for all of us as taught in our national anthem. We strive and work and pray that all may live in unity, freedom, and peace each day. Therefore, let justice and the fear of Allah guide our actions towards our common good. This means our attitude towards our environment, our homes and neighbors, our public institutions like markets, hospitals, schools, NAWEC, GAMTEL, our flora and fauna, etc., must be taken care of because they determine our common good. Our hospitals, roads, public infrastructure, etc., all determine our common well-being. Therefore, as we approach our 50th independence anniversary in 2015, let us for once forget I-ism and opt for we-ism. The philosophy of I-ism can only lead to greed, selfishness, and division. The philosophy of we-ism can only lead to unity, virtuousness, and to Allah. A typical example of this in our religion is the high premium that the Almighty Allah has placed on congregational prayers as opposed to individual prayers. The environment is an inextricable link to our survival and culture. Therefore, we must not only preserve our natural heritage, but also study it and document it for posterity. My government will continue to support research on our cultural heritage and also encourage Gambians to make good use of our natural resources for the benefit of every Gambian. In this vein, I am pleased to inform you that henceforth, January 17th will be celebrated as National Natural Medicines Day. This day will be set aside to appreciate, celebrate, and also embrace our indigenous ways of medical treatment. While celebrating this day for the glories of our rich past, it should also be a moment for further reflection, thought, and research for the improvement of our indigenous knowledge of natural medicine remedies for their adaptation in a dynamic and increasingly materialistic commercial world. Fellow Gambians, friends of the Gambia, on the international front, the Gambia will continue to pursue a foreign policy based on equality and genuine friendship with the rest of the world. Such friendship must be anchored on mutual respect and the inviolability of our sovereignty and independence. We are not against any country or race, but we demand absolute respect for our religious values from all nations regardless of size, race, wealth, or ideology. In interacting with the rest of the world, we shall continue to jealously guard our independence and sovereignty. We do not and shall never interfere with the domestic politics of any nation, and therefore